We open up, camera pans on a ship flying through space, gleaming white. On the side, it says SCV 105 DALIAN. The camera pans inside, phasing through, and into the hangar. Inside, there are bored mechanics just sort of sitting around doing their menial tasks. The camera pans once again to the cockpit of a Lozi Bolt. What is Lozi doing?
She is in the hangar, correct?
Yes.
Okay, she is essentially doing anything but focusing on the current task at hand. She is not taking the future sortie very seriously right now, and at the moment she'd mostly be sorting her cockpit, getting everything nice and tidy, getting like an air freshener, hanging it somewhere at the top, things like that. It's a very cramped space, but one she's trying to make her own.
I see, I see. What does Lozi look like?
Lizzie is she is a space knight. She's from the Belter. She is a rather short woman. She is sort of a short, stocky woman, a dwarf-like build. She has auburn hair, brown eyes, and she looks kind of like a mix between like a Southern Belle and like Rosie the Riveter, for lack of a better term.
The camera pans once again to a man with only one leg and mechanical prosthetic for the other her missing leg. There he sits at a table looking over a newspaper. It says upcoming conference in Amman between Earth Federation, the Republic of Zeon, and Riyadh to discuss future economic cooperation.
Connie is, while he's reading the newspaper, his prosthetic leg is very nervously
Connie,
bouncing up and down.
you hear the klaxon and open, and the ship-wide intercom comes to life.
He looks up.
Alberik, I believe you have
It's
something
like
to...
the voice of Captain Patrick Alberik voices through the speakers, a rasping voice with with a faintly aristocratic accent, damaged by repeated exposure to vacuum. He speaks. All hands, this is Alberik. Now hear this. The objective of this cruise has been majorly altered. I'm certain we were all expecting to be home in a number of weeks. That is no longer the case. We serve subject to the requirements of the service, and the service has made an order of us and our vessel. The good ship DALIAN and all hands are to make for the belt. Details are forthcoming and to be dispersed shortly. I am certain this news comes less than welcome, and this I understand. However, the Zeon threat is still out there and is extremely real. In a few hours or days, you will hear over the news that some Zeonic blackguards have absconded with a mobile suit facility. They'll be trying to restart the war out in the belt, where our fleet is thin. Crewmen of the Earth Federation, if we fail, the victories of Earth, Solomon, and Abawaku will have been for nothing. We must forsake our homes for this time, or there may not be a home to return to. Alian, carry on.
After hearing this, Connie just leans on the table and puts his hands in his head. A very, very long and soft groan escapes his lips. And he reaches in his flight jacket for a half-full pack of cigarettes, taps it on the table, and picks one out with his mouth and lights it, and takes a very, very long and exhausted drag from the cigarette.
And the three come on you, Connie, and Ensign Zoe, Junior Lieutenant Saul, and Ensign Joe.
He breaks out of this melancholic mood and smiles at the oncomers, cigarette hanging loosely out the side of his mouth. Once more into the breach.
Sorry, could I ask something real quick?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Is there a chance I could actually have Zoe start in her room? I have an idea.
Sure.
Thank you.
Joe. Ensign Joe. What do you... you've known Connie for a grand total of 3 days. How are you feeling right now? with the news that your, routine in patrol in the belt of, showing the flag and coming back is now significantly more important than you thought it would be.
A combination of apprehension and satisfaction, in that Joe has not been wholly convinced that the end of the war was the end of hostilities, and this just proves his pessimistic assessment correct.
What does Joe look like?
And he's a fairly tall, thin, dark hair, crop short, thinner build, and kind of a permanently sour look on his face.
Saul, what are you thinking about all this?
He's kind of mentally separating and also kind of stuck in the thought of them stealing a whole fucking facility like that's a big deal, but also what was their means? Like, we know the why and we know when, but he's kind of more like, okay, I'm leading my team. Knowing the means of people that capable would be probably good to sit down and figure out.
I'd like you to roll with me keen academics at a -3.
Keen academics at -3. That's fair enough. I passed officer school. That was about it. Keen is my good one. Academics is mid. I am looking for a 6.
Is that with the -3?
With the -3, no. That would be a 3 total, which I am 3 over, so that is 3 degrees of failure, sir.
You don't know how they managed to do this, or even who you're fighting at this point.
Yeah. He's just gonna quietly hope. Has nothing to do with the people on Luna who bailed last minute.
The camera pans away to the bridge, and there is, Captain Alberik. What does he look like?
Alberik stands at about 6'3". He's broad of shoulder, red of face, blonde of hair. His right ear has been clearly cut off and reattached surgically more than once.
To the right of
And
you,
that's about it.
To the right of you is Chief Medical Officer of the ship, Warrant Officer Matherin, Stephen Matherin. Matherin, what do you make of Alberik's current mood? I'd like you to make me a keen and empathy with a +2, considering your long friendship.
All right. That would be 8 success.
Excellent. Patrick, if you would, what is your mood currently?
So there's sort of a difference here. There's the mood he is projecting and the mood he actually feels. I believe with 8 successes, Matherin can tell the difference. The mood he's projecting is steadfast, stoic. This is unexpected. This is not what he was expecting, but it is not unexpected. He and the ship are ready. However, deep down, Matherin can see through the fact that a smile does not quite reach his eyes that he isn't really in a good situation to take a cruise of an unknown duration into deep space.
You do know where your mark is heading towards, and you are aware.
Oh, do we?
Yes. And you know that you are not the only ones on this hunt. Along with the 18th Autonomous Squadron, which consists of just yourselves, there is the 19th and 28th also on the job, and the Zeon's second outer fleet, which is a grand total of 4 ships. All cruisers.
Hello.
So currently on this hunt, there are
Fetty ships, Public of Zeon ships.
Yes. And as does everyone else, 3 months after the war, that any Republic of Zeon unit has basically stripes placed upon its equipment of white with red in the middle and white again, usually on shoulders, shields, various big parts of ships, just to make sure it's them.
they're still using Zaku's and Musai's.
Well, it's the equipment they had. The war has only been over for 4 months. It's what they have. It's not like you're not using Jims and Salamis's anymore.
This isn't exactly even though this isn't dialogue, Aubrey's just a bit defensively is like, this ship isn't exactly a Salamis.
Matherin, what do you do with this information about Alberik's mood?
Albert doesn't make any comment here on the bridge because he doesn't want to like undermine the image that he's trying to project currently, but like takes note and realizes that if he's concerned about this, this is a situation that needs to be handled with like due levity. If he's concerned, then it must be, you know, a fairly serious situation.
Alberik, to your right, you hear your executive officer, Commander Yalvin Cathers, say, "Sir, should we set a course to block them off from Sylvia?"
Sylvia is the destination then?
Yes.
High
20.
Delta V burn.
You see to your right a very young man, 29, and already a commander.
Internally, his father must be someone important. But externally, yes, plot a high Delta V burn. They'll be moving there slowly, and the faster we get there ahead of them, the better.
Understood, sir. He barks out the orders to make sure it gets done. The camera pans once again to a room. Zoe, what does the room look like? You know, as an officer, you have the privilege of having your own bunk.
The room is fairly plain, outside of a single bass guitar sitting at one corner of the room. Is gravity on?
Gravity's always off.
Yeah, I assume so. Zoe is floating in her room. She looks tired as she looks at a bottle in her hand. It has a medicine that she is meant to take after her experiences in the war with a certain mobile suit. As she opens the bottle and downs a pill, she looks to the window of the bathroom, which contains 2 photos. One photo is her with a group of what could only be assumed to be her friends from school, as she seems quite young as a pilot, being 17. It is them in their uniforms standing around in a picture with like their instruments, and the date is marked January 3rd, UC 0079.
What does Zoe look like?
Zoe has red hair and purple eyes. Her hair is slightly disheveled, but not as disheveled as some others could attest to from back in the war. And her, well, I believe I already said she had purple eyes, but her eyes are still tired. As for the second picture on the bathroom mirror, it is Zoe with her friends again, except she's wearing an EFF flight jacket. They are standing in what seems to be a colony. They all have red eyes and puffy cheeks, as if this photo was taken during a very emotionally high moment. There is a hand slightly entering the camera of someone, presumably the picture taker, doing a bit of a peace sign, as it is marked December UC 0079, side 6. Keep going, Zoe. We're always with you. Zoe looks at the photo and she sighs as she just says, I don't know if I can really still come back to you guys. But she sighs as she goes to exit the room, hearing the captain's brilliant speech as or going to open her door as the captain finished her brilliant speech, as she thinks to herself, the war is never going to end, but...
Zoe, as your hand reaches for, the button to open it, you hear a knock on it.
Zoe sighs. She thinks she knows who it is. He's always been on her case ever since they met back at, around Jaburo. She opens the door It's the person who took the second photo back in December. Connie.
He has an exhausted smile on his face. The same cigarette from when he was in the break room still smoldering in the corner of his lips. You weren't sleeping in, were you? He sounds probably just as exhausted as Zoe.
She shakes her head. Just taking my medicine. Also, you shouldn't be smoking in part of the ship. She says that as she floats past him, takes the cigarette from his lips, and puts it out on the wall of the ship.
Connie sighs through his nose, the last drag of the cigarette coming through it, and kicks off the floor, in quotations.
Zoe, would you like to make a
Yeah.
academics and keen test? Just flat roll.
Okay. She did. You said keen?
Mm-hmm.
That is 2 successes. I rolled a 3.
You would remember a couple weeks ago that Connie mentioned something about being a father now, or going to be one.
She also says, besides, you don't need to be smoking when you get back home to
Connie, you see Zoe like struggling for the name.
Misha. And
Right.
he says it in a very sorrowful tone.
Right. Well, you need to get back to him. Should break your habit before you do. She says words that are probably very applicable to herself as she starts to float down the corridor.
Pot, meet kettle. Both of you hear Zoe's bunk intercom open up. Saul, you have something to say?
Calling all members of the MS team, Black Bear team, all members, please report to the hangar.
The intercom goes slack.
Zoe sighs as she says, He was one of your old officers back when you were a foot soldier, right?
Yep.
The one who
Dakar.
had a breakdown.
He doesn't say anything. He just nods.
Yeah, Zoe, what do you think of that?
Zoe thinks of it. She can kind of understand from her point, because she once was had to see a Zaku from the ground floor back during the refugee crises post the
January disasters.
colony. The January disasters, yeah. Got separated from the people she cared about. And yeah. But well, while she was out piloting a mobile suit for well, not let's say the best people in the Federation, this guy cracked, then had to basically be put out of commission or stationed somewhere else for the war. And well, now he's her commanding officer, even though she has several months more mobile
Combat.
suit experience than he does.
Yes, but yet he has years of being an officer on you. You know, as we all know, the military never makes mistakes.
Yeah. Connie could definitely sense her, let's say, apprehension about her new commanding officer.
Don't worry. I have the same feelings. It was hard, especially since those are my first few months in combat, seeing someone like that crack. But he shrugs. I'm just happy to see him again.
She says, well, not like we'll be seeing much of anyone from the Enterprise.
He breathes in, but it's the shaky breathing of somebody who is trying his best to keep his emotions in check. Yeah.
She looks back at him. Once he saw Connie would see a girl with such angry, passionate eyes, now looks really tired. As the last month of the war was a bit of a roller coaster for her, as he can attest, as she just says, "Come on, let's go."
Once more into the breach. And he kicks off the floor and starts floating down the hall.
The two of you make it to the hangar. There you find Saul, Zoe, Ensign Joe Dankle. Dankle.
It's a great name.
Oh, it's a great name. All waiting. Saul, you see the two of them approach.
Saul gives each of them a nod, just kind of acknowledging them entering. He's just kind of standing there, arms behind his back, dressed uniform. He does a key difference. He does standard Federation. I guess not Earth Federation Space Forces uniform versus ground forces. It does have a medal now. Oh boy! Thank you. Thank you all for coming. As it stands, to do a check-in with all of you, seeing as we're going into more or less the danger zone, as I'm sure you're all aware. That means the lives of everyone on this ship, as well as all of you, would be at risk at all times. But I believe in all of you guys. We made it through the 1-year war. We're here to remember everyone. I would like to take a moment before I ask all of you to more or less go over battle tactics. I know some of you have heard of a breakdown I had. I would like you to know that it was not because of battle. Moreover, it was the after effects of battle. There will not be a moment in the fight where I will leave you guys hanging, because you're my guys.
All of you suddenly hear a commotion.
Zoe was just kind of standing there with her arms slightly crossed, listening to him, being like, she was listening to him, and she still has her reservations, but she hears the commotion. She goes to check it out. Doesn't really say much.
You turn around. You see after hearing a big loud clang, you see an enlisted man standing, floating defiantly, refusing to move in front of a more senior NCO. You can't hear from this distance, though, exactly what they're saying. But everyone's starting to look at them.
Can I boost off of the hang? Are we in like low gravity?
Well, you're in 0G, but this is Gundam, so you can still walk. Because of course you can.
Yeah. I would like. Can I boost off of the hangar floor up to kind of hear what they're talking about and possibly get ready to discipline someone?
Would anyone like to join them?
Real quick. I'm assuming you're gonna float past us, right?
Yes.
Caffeine? When you float past Connie, he's gonna clap you on the back and lean in and say, "It's good to see you again, Saul."
Good to see you too, Connie.
And then he's gonna kick off of the deck and sort of do that 0G swim that's only really natural to space noids over to get a closer look at the commotion.
Both of you hear, but you have to, by the senior NCO. Oh, then you hear the junior of the two say, "I won't do it. I'm sick and fucking tired of fighting all the time." This argument goes on for a little while.
What seems to be the problem?
The NCO turns to you. This is Chief Petty Officer Baker, one of the flight crew chiefs. He said, as Petty Officer Jamil says, he isn't gonna fucking work now that we're on the hunt.
True. I look at him.
Oh, did you say that's true?
Yeah, I asked is that true? I asked the other guy, is that true?
He nods.
Saul nods for a moment, solemnly understanding him, and then he will, more firmly than he ever has, at least what Connie has seen him do, slaps him. Petty officer, I will have you know that many people on board at this moment, myself included, are tired of fighting. But the point of us being here is so other people don't have to. People who can't anymore. People who aren't around anymore. Understand?
I'd like you to roll me. Let me think. What would you like the bonus to be? 1 or 2.
1 or 2.
Yeah, pick one.
Let's do 1.
Okay, so 1. I'd like you to roll me a charm and leadership check right now, and that will be your bonus to your poison intimidation check.
All right. Charm and leadership. I'm rolling that first.
Yep.
Okay. That's one of my best rolls. Oh, that's really good. 1 dice. Oh, that's a crit. That's 2. So that's 8 successes.
I did not expect this, but you gotta roll with it. So, you haggle with this man, and you eventually get him to go back to working. However, you notice around Saul, everyone else seems to be extra demoralized after the news.
He kind of turns around, and he kind of motions to everyone, kind of all demoralized. As it stands, sucks, putting it bluntly. But hear me now. What we're doing out here, we're stopping worse things from coming on the horizon. We are stopping more fighting like the 1-year war. Keep that in your hearts. Keep that in the hope that everyone else has, that they are putting in us. Every man, woman, child, that we are out here defending Space Noid, Earth Noid, everyone.
You see him all shamble on back to work. With, a little less dead in the eyes.
It's clear no one's excited about more fighting.
Naturally. The camera cuts. Alberik, you're in the operations room. With you is Commander Yalvin, and you're both looking over a report of your mark.
What am I looking at?
So, after a lightning raid, a Zanzibar II-class ship, the RETHE, along with a screen of 2 Galgal destroyers, managed to steal a in-transit Gelgoog mobile suit factory. The Zanzibar II was fully loaded with Gelgoogs. They couldn't be sure of all their exact makes, but one was shot down during the raid.
Okay.
Currently speaking, your mark, the RETHE, is undamaged.
Lightning raid, indeed. Where is it going?
It's currently making a burst, or it's towards Sylvia.
Sylvia.
You would know, as a long-time Federation Space Forces officer, at your age of 44, that you were in their direct path, and if you manage to push them aside, you can pretty much deflect them right into Ceres, which is the Federation stronghold in the belt.
Let's see. Yalvin, what do you make of it?
I wouldn't want to tangle with them if that's what you're asking.
I wouldn't if I could absolutely avoid it. She has more guns than us, almost certainly more mobile suits. She has a veteran crew, all of whom are well aware they will be hanged upon capture. They will fight to the last. We'll have to outmaneuver her. Zanzibar II, we can probably have more Delta V, more propellant left in our tanks. And we have the ships in series to help us. But There's the human factor to be considered. I'm certain almost none of the crew have taken this well. What's the geography, the lay of the land between here and Sylvia?
You see Yelvin, mess around with the operations table screen and say, there's a couple leftover or ghost ships from the Belt campaign floating about. We might run into Zeon Remnants trying to make their way to access.
Mars is on the other side of the system, I presume?
You both look over. It's, by the time we get to the Belt, you could theoretically make a trip to Mars.
Yeah, but it would be the opposite direction.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have anyone else helping us? Those two Republic of Zeon ships, I'm aware of them, but there's 2 Federation squadrons and paper squadrons, who are joining us. What do we know about them?
Salamis and a Lepanto. No mobile suit complement.
He wordlessly sort of slams his fist on the operations table. It's like, it's just us then. Just us, really.
He nods.
Well, how's the crew? Supplies, stores. What do we? Can we get all the way out to Ceres and back? That will be the nearest resupply point.
Well, at current rationing, we can make a 6-month voyage. And with our reduced combat load to compensate for the taken up space, we could keep them running for a better part of the year.
Keeping them running might be our best bet, but it's an unsatisfying one that will reduce the human factor, as I said. Is Matherin with us?
You looked at Killick and said, who's in the room, and said, would you like me to go get him, sir?
If you please, Killick.
He nods and walks off. In a little while, he returns with Warrant Officer Matherin.
Matherin, I'm certain you're aware of the situation before us now today.
In the broadest of senses.
Are there any additional considerations aside from supply, the distance to Ceres, the presence of the Republic of Zeon ships, Federation ships? Any externalities that I'm not aware of, especially with regards to the Republic of Zeon ships? I understand the political situation. Should they come to face with a defiant, resurgent Zeon remnant, is, he trails off the sentence, dubious.
Matherin, I'd like you to make me a keen in politics roll with a +2.
Sorry, with the last part cut out on me there. Sorry.
+2.
+2.
+2.
Ah, well, that's a snake eyes.
Ooh, excellent. You are actually quite aware of this. Alberik, are you aware of Matherin's proclivities, as it were, politically?
Yes, I'm aware.
Yes, known Space Noid sympathizer. So, Matherin, what you know is the Republic of Zeon is currently in a period of consolidation. The ZSDF is not the most reliable force on the planet. However, you can count them on at least not firing upon you, even if they do not pursue your mark with the greatest of vigor. Amongst the crew, which I believe was a question asked?
Yes, our crew. How are they? Do they want to kill me? Literally.
Matherin, you would have heard several instances of deep insubordination among several departments already. And, extra grognard behavior. especially from your veterans of the one you wore, not your fresh conscripts.
Fresh
Gotcha.
conscripts.
It's the old hands who are more upset than the new ones.
Danger that way lies. Once, if we lose the old guards, if we lose the chiefs, then we can start tasting void already. We're gonna have to head them off at the pass. At dinner tonight. Do you have the itinerary already, Matherin?
Matherin, you open up a crumpled piece of paper. The wardroom dinner is Sot's hog, which is boiled pig's head, with toasted cheese, coffee, and ice cream. It will be you, Captain Alberik, Commander Yalvin, and Warrant Officer Urkani, Ensign and Zoe, and the chef, Chief Petty Officer Preserved Gillick.
I hope my objective here was to take a lateral slice, so to speak, of the entire officer corps, being able to have one each from the warrants, the juniors, and the bridge. We're going to have to revise our, shall we say, disciplinary policies as an officer corps. Necessarily on this long cruise, we can't have the typical wartime discipline that we require, lest we burn out every individual member of the crew by the time it comes to send rounds home. I've been considering issuing an advisory to all ship's officers to, how shall I put this, strictly avoid physical discipline of the crew.
The camera cuts for a moment, then you see Saul sneeze, and it cuts back.
No slapping, Matherin. It seemed
Fine
unusual.
idea.
Could you repeat that again, Matherin? I didn't quite catch it.
Right. So it's a fine idea. It's physical coercion is not a viable method for keeping the crew at hand long term.
Yes, long term, of course. We need to provide some way to show our hand to any would-be mutineers that we understand how terrible the situation is, but without outright saying it, compromising our position as the moral and legal leadership of this ship. All right. Well, I suppose we have 6 months to figure out this RETHE business. What matters still need attaining to?
At the mention of 6 months, Connie just puts his hands in his head and pushes his sunglasses up. He doesn't make a noise, but
I like to imagine we just have a lot of quick cuts to different parts of the ship is pertinent.
Yeah.
Pertinent information delivered.
Yeah, you just see some nameless crewmen just eyeing, senior and careerist NCOs and officers.
We do what we can. That's good, man. All right. If you could if you could send to the supply department's chief a detailed request for an itemized inventory of every single bean, boot, and bullet aboard the ship. I think that will be all for now. Yalvin.
Understood, sir. He clicks his heel, holds at attention, and then pivots and leaves.
Yeah, dismissed.
Connie, Saul,
that's me.
Lozy, Ensign Joe, Zoe. You're all sitting next to the hangar, reviewing some specs. When the food cart for the current watch comes around, and rolls up to you guys, and you see this crewman say, "Sirs, lunch."
Please.
Gladly.
Thank you.
With pleasure.
As today is a Wednesday, today's your weekly whiskey ration.
Saul noticeably actually doesn't drink.
You're just staring at the cheap ass swill.
No, I think after he got into space and he realized he couldn't find the people he was looking for, he stopped drinking.
Connie looks over to Saul. If you won't, I will. And he's taking a sip from the little pouch as he's looking at a clipboard, looking at his GM Dauntless, and looking at the very strange beam weapon that's been attached to it.
Yes, this extremely strange thing. You don't know
Real contraption hours,
You don't know fully how it works, but you know what it does. It is the Polycrest rifle. The way it's been explained to you by your chief mechanic is that it adjusts the barrel internally to help compensate for any minor miscalculations when you make your shot. Using the onboard learning computer.
So how exactly is it? Refractor fields? Is it? Well, I guess it would have to be
physically moving the barrel internally.
Connie is looking at this thing, thinking, "Oh Lord Almighty, there are better ways to do this." Connie's going to flip to another page, an empty. Or he's going to write in the margins. And he's just thinking out loud. Concept is good on paper. Execution. And he looks over to Saul. Think we can get some target balloons out? I want to take this thing
for its very first ride. You haven't gotten a chance to fire it yet.
I'll say if we do target practice, we would probably want the whole team on standby just in case we get ambushed.
Fair enough.
I feel
Ensign Joe's just gonna look at you like scribbling furiously in the margins of your blueprints. It's like it seems like your tin toys are getting more and more complicated day by day. And he'll look with satisfaction at his like reliable old shuttle with its big ass missiles and a technology that hasn't changed much in the last decade.
Well, this little tin suit could probably kick that
public
shuttle halfway to side 2 by now.
Well, every piece of equipment has its place, I will say. Baoku was not pretty, especially for those shuttle pilots.
And at
Zoe
the mention,
Zoe. Yeah, go ahead first.
At the mention of a Baoku, Connie is going to touch a scar on his face and glance over to Zoe.
And Zoe meets his glance and looks away as she's just like, yeah, me and... She looks at Connie again. Me and warrant officer would know.
Regardless. For any...
Launching those anti-beam
diffusion
missiles was not much fun, nor was it of much use.
You were one of those suicide jockeys?
Godspeed.
He'll bristle a little bit of suicide jockey, but nod.
Well, you better eat your food while you can. That goes for everyone. Meals are important. Keeps you motivated. Keeps you happy.
Connie, I have a question.
I have an answer.
You see Zoe start to go for the drink.
Zoe does not actually go for the whiskey.
Oh,
No,
really? Aw.
no, she's not that far gone. She's not that far gone. She's like, I love underage drinking. Grok.
The bartender can't
Honestly,
read that
okay.
military ID anyways.
Yeah, Zoe. Okay, you know what? Zoe is reaching for something, but it looks like she's reaching for the whiskey.
Connie is going to raise an eyebrow, but he's not going to say anything yet.
And her hand gets close, suspiciously close to the whiskey, and before you go to open your mouth, she grabs something else from the table and takes it.
It's salt.
Connie closes his mouth and nods.
Zoe,
Like
you saw
a
all
subtle nod to himself.
Like, good.
Excellent.
Zoe is gonna look at him, nod to himself, and just kind of groan in her head as if there's one thing Connie's been, it's been all up in her business since they've met.
Not like that.
I was about to say, Zoe, what do you exactly mean by that?
So big question mark, like, are those are those two?
Is this an affair?
With the child?
Oh my god, I can't believe it.
Okay, to be fair, it's the 80s.
That
What
is not
fit
an
in the
excuse.
80s?
I don't like what. Can I
That's
retract
great
from
out
this
of
campaign?
context. That's gonna be great out of context.
Someone
fucking
just clip
sauce.
that, and we'll use that again
Yeah.
to you later.
Yeah, I'm gonna be canceled. Anyway.
Yeah,
Saul
Okay.
looking at the
by our many, many fans.
Yeah, Belt Patrol.
Saul looking at the
gets canceled.
yeah, Belt Patrol canceled only one episode in. But yeah, I just fucking Saul sitting there being like, wow, those few months in the war must have changed him. My god.
What happened to Silly?
Anyway.
Losey actually seeing, if would she have seen, Zoe go for the quote unquote drink?
Yes.
Losey has kind of been keeping to herself as she's holding her own drink. She's been sort of eyeing it as well, and then she like passes it over to Zoe and then pats her like on the back roughly. Old enough to fight a war, old enough to drink. Here you go, kid.
Zoe just looks at the bottle. She
It's a pouch. It's a Capri Sun.
Oh
Space.
yeah, she looks at the Capri Sun pouch. Capri Sun's really been making new flavors ever since the war broke out. As she looks at the pouch and like she's staring at it with like blank eyes as you kind of start to see that thought creep in as she just like shakes her head. She's like, I'm on medication.
Sorry to hear that. She takes it back, sort of spins it around her finger.
That's not as impressive considering we're in 0G.
As it stands, though, Connie, you can have my drink. I stopped. I don't have the flask anymore, even.
Oh Jesus!
What have they
Would
done to you?
Saul have told Connie about what he didn't find?
I think he would have, and I think when he found out Connie and them, he probably would have mentioned very lightly. I don't know how far he would have gone into it because it's been 4 months. It still upsets him.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
He had a Space Marine Social Lunarian girlfriend and she was in Granada, and so she was pulled into the Zeke side of things on the moon. And when all the remaining Zeeks pulled out and bailed on the moon, military wise, it would appear that she was one of the ones who got pulled away.
The scene starts to fade to black. Alberik, it's been 6 hours. And, you know, your watch is almost about to end when you hear Chief Petty Officer Daniels say, "Sir, Monofsky's signature." He's not responding to any details.
Show me.
You walk over. I'd like you to make me a leadership and keen test.
Okay. Leadership keen. Right, threshold 8. Snake eyes.
Snake eyes?
Mm.
Dead ringer for it's either a Columbus or an Antietam. They're sort of hard to it's sort of hard to tell the difference using this reading without physically looking at the things, but it has to be one of the two. It's too small to be a moose eye, and it's
I don't know what
too
I
big.
don't know what an Antietam is.
An Antietam?
Alberik does. Quicks doesn't.
Let me. I thought you might not. So allow me to introduce you to the Federation's go-to light carrier, the Antietam class.
Yeah, I love this guy. Great.
It can carry 12 mobile suits, but is pretty pitifully defended otherwise.
How many times have we tried to contact them?
I can try for a third time if you'd like.
Please do.
You say, "Hey, this is Federation Carrier DALIAN, and please respond. This is Earth Federation Forces Carrier DALIAN. Please respond."
Scopes, what can you tell me about it? What can the Scopes tell me about it? Is it business as usual? Is it falling apart? Is it under attack?
You see a crewman says, "All I can see is a bit of smoke."
Bring us closer.
The helmsman obeys, and everyone on the ship suddenly feels a course change.
And everyone starts
And
around like pinball balls.
Signals?
All normal.
Beat to quarters.
Understood. Everyone hears on the intercom, all hands, general quarters. This is not a drill. All hands, general quarters. This is not a drill."
Good thing I got back at the time.
Pancake, I'd like you to roll me poison acrobatics.
Alrighty.
Same with you, Losi.
Can I use athletics instead?
No.
Alright, well that is so boys acrobatics, so that would be a threshold of 3 and a result of 7. So 4 degrees of failure.
Losi?
And 4 degrees of successes.
I'd like you both to roll me a tiebreaker roll.
Alright.
2.
1.
Losi, when you bolt up, as the ship, has suddenly changed trajectory, Connie smacks into you as you're scrambling to get out and get dressed from your shared bunk.
As she, howdy, stranger, and she pushes him off.
Fair enough. We've only known each other for 3 days. and he's gonna scramble to get his normal suit on, pushing his banjo out of the way because I'm assuming that probably came loose.
It's a real mess as you're doing the little jig when you try to get the pants on.
And
The
also
one.
have to deal with. Yeah, well, also it's more difficult for him because he doesn't sleep with his prosthetic leg on.
Oh, you also had to get that on.
Yeah,
great.
because his normal suit is set up for the stump.
You two fall metaphorically and only slightly literally fall out of your bunk and scramble towards the hangar. You find the entire rest of the the MS team ready. So to your right, you see Dangle scramble out the belly a hatch to get to the public class that's strapped to the bottom of the hull.
There's mild concern because we're at a point in the we're at a point where those things are horribly outclassed.
Not against a ship.
Not against a ship, but he's still actually kind of worried about any amount of ambush, and like even in space there are snipers. So though they seem to be having any trouble getting in, or they seem fine?
They seem fine.
Okay. He's going to put his helmet on, and he's going to make way to his mobile suit.
Excellent. Alberik, as you're getting closer,
yes,
you see this antetum, which you correctly identified. Recent beam damage, not mega beam class, definitely just regular beam cannons.
All right. Try and hail them again. Bring us alongside.
As you get closer, you notice that there was classic looks just like an ammo detonation. It's kind of a miracle this thing isn't a million pieces right now.
Yeah, that's odd.
Yeah, but if the overpressure didn't kill them, the void probably threw any survivors well away from here.
Let's keep the scopes on, keep the radar on. Let's try and find everyone that we can. Sortie 2 mobile suits.
Understood.
Connie would be first on the number for a rescue op.
Saul, you've been given the order to sortie one of your wings out.
He immediately taps and laser comms between everyone. All right, everyone. Connie, you're with me. We're heading out. We have orders to search and survey and be on guard. This is Black Bear, team lead, the DALIAN, heading for a catapult.
If I'm to understand this correctly, does that mean you and Connie are wingmen?
Always have been, always will.
Might as well. I mean, Zelda hasn't really had a wingman ever since he was thrown into space, and Connie's basically the closest thing.
Understood. The two of you are flung out by the catapults. You see a destroyed Federation light carrier. Connie.
Yes.
I'd like you to roll me a fatigue empathy check.
Ah, shit. threshold of 11. Result of 4. 8 degrees of success. I am feeling too much empathy.
You know, your eyes linger on this destroyed Antietam for just a second too long. Take a mind damage. Alberik.
Yes. Yes.
I'd like you to roll me keen leadership systems.
Ugh, the first ship roll of Operation V.
UNP, yeah. New rules. We'll see how they go.
Yeah, many new rules actually. Right, keen leadership systems.
Yes.
All right. All right, I rolled a 5, which gives 8 successes.
For a split second, you see classic markings of incoming fire. Or, what do you do? 10, 9, 8.
Put the nose on them, launch all mobile suits.
I'd like you to make me a move check then.
All right. Let's see, is there a... Yes, there is already a shorthand for move check.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Oof, 2 failures.
2 failures.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
What skill does the failure go to for move?
This case, leadership.
All right. Yep, 2 failures.
You know, as you do that at Alberik, the beam fires high. Connie, you see a Galgal class destroyer approach.
Oh no, the submarines of space. He keys it over to Connie. All right, Connie, it's our job to make sure ship isn't hit. Let's do this. And you see Saul actually lead ahead, shield forward.
Tommy, before he closes the visor on his normal suit helmet, brings 2 fingers to his lips, kisses them, and then runs it across 4 photos. One of Saul and the rest of First Mechanized in the car. One of him and his wife. One of him and his sister. And one of NT team. And then he closes his visor and raises the Polycrest rifle.
Alberik, since you were pulled first, would you like to keep spending actions? Or would you like to pass your turn on to someone else? Quicks?
Oh, I thought you were talking to Zoe. Yeah, I'll pass.
Who would you like to pass your turn to?
Zoe.
Zoe,
Me?
you get on the catapult. Since ends.
Well, may I? Sorry, I have another dramatic scene in mind. Do you mind if I?
Sure, go ahead.
Before this happened, before she gets in her mobile suit, before the start of the whole fight, she's looking up to her gym gauntlets, her put on assigned to her by Connie's request. As she stares at its face, the mobile suit changes for a second. It's no longer a Jim Dauntless or Jim Stiker 2. It's a mobile suit with a visor, much like a Jim, but the eyes of a the twin eyes underneath. It looks like a sniper too, but it looks more dangerous somehow. Like a piece of machinery that was made for a sinister purpose. And then it changes back to the Jim Dauntless for her as she takes a shaky breath as she steps inside the cockpit in her black pilot's, or I'd say it's not black. It's actually more of a bit of a red, but it's the pilot suit that the experimental mobile suit pilots wear. So the ones from like 0080, the one Christina wears.
Ah, excellent, excellent. You get on the
As she
catapult.
steps into the mobile suit.
You feel, your back dig into your cockpit, and you're out. What do? You see the Galgal. Oh, that's super long range. And you see two smaller blue dots that look like they're about out to like start accelerating towards you.
So where is my team?
Connie and Saul would be front left of you, while Lozy is on the catapult waiting to be launched right now. She'll be following you shortly.
All right. Well, as sits in the cockpit and is launched out, she just quietly remarks to herself that it feels different, slightly slower. She kind of clicks her tongue as she looks at the controls in front of her as they once again shift to a slightly different looking cockpit, but she shakes her head and is going to make a movement check to start intercepting the two dots. However, I have a question. What's the cover look like around here? I assume we're in the belt, right?
No, this is open space.
Oh, so there's no cover, basically.
None. Not a thing.
All right, then Zoe is going to make her way towards the bottom right of the area. So she's going to start approaching the ship from below, but making her way towards the two dots, which are probably mobile suits. So she is trying to stay out of the firing range of the, or at least stay out of the guns by going down, but moving closer to the targets.
Okay, then. Is the move check all you'd like to do?
Then okay, I would like to do a move check, and if I manage to get into range, I would like to attempt to open fire with my beam rifle on one of the mobile suits.
Understood. Please make a move check for me.
Right. 3, 2, 1. 5 successes.
5 successes. Would you like to move a medium or long distance?
We're at super lawn. If I
Correct.
move
So
medium
if
distance, that should put me
that would put you within medium of the target. If you move
medium.
if you elect to move 3 range bands, that would put you at close, which would give you point blank.
Okay. All right. In that case, I would like to move into close range, and while I'm doing that, I want to, if I could, make an intimidation check.
No. You already declared what you're going to say.
I cannot.
Yeah, you already said what you were going to do. However, on a reaction, you may do that. So, as you get closer, when the Zaku starts to open up.
All right.
And no need to do another move check or reaction, because you just did your move check.
All right.
And, these rounds are like blazing towards you, and you like throw the mobile suit left, right, down, up, zigzagging towards, and you get close. Would you like to target the first or second Zaku?
The first Zaku.
Very well then. I'd like you to make me a flat shoot check, because your point blank negates the malice for having an extra check.
Okay. And yeah, while she's moving in, she is pulling some pretty
Actually,
tight
I-
maneuvers.
I forgot. It's a Zaku F2. Nimble 2. Make this roll at a
Oh,
-2. My bad. I forgot.
Dice. Oh, hell yeah. That's an awakening point.
Ooh, nice.
4, 8 successes.
8 successes. That's a beam rifle, and that's a dead mobile
That would
suit.
be...
I'd like you
Yeah,
to
Zoe...
first. I'd like you to roll me 2d6.
Right. That's a 7.
7. It doesn't blow up. Describe what happens, please.
As Zaku starts opening fire, Zoe just suddenly pushes right on her frontal as the Dauntless spins out of the way, and then it just, as Connie and Saul can see, just starts going left, right, up, down as it's trying to open fire on her. It does a side to turn as it gets right in front of the Zaku, just getting right up in front of it to where like the pilot's camera would just be like the face of her sniper or of her Jim Dauntless, and she just puts the beam rifle to the chest and boom, pulls the trigger.
You may add another kill.
Yep, I already did.
Excellent. Who do you want to give this to?
I'll have Connie and Saul gone.
You can't give it to a friendly.
Oh, okay, then I guess I'll give it to the Zaku.
To the Zaku, it goes in for melee.
Alright. Then Zoe's going to... Yeah, Zoe's gonna try and meet it.
Understood. Meeting an attack. Let's see. I got 3 successes.
Alright. Melee grit?
Whichever you prefer, just describe it accordingly.
Alright. I am not going... I swear to God, I'm not shitting you. My dice are very happy today with me. I rolled another snare, 6, snake eyes. But with a 6. So as the Zaku pulls out, I assume, a Heat Hawk and tries to go in for melee, Zoe just... Shit, where is the Sniper 2's beam saber located?
Backplate.
No.
Zoe reaches...
Oh,
Oh,
sorry.
Zoe reaches...
No. So, I'm sorry, because it's the Dauntless. Its torso is based off of the... No, Go Miner's right. It's where the heat knife is on the Spartan, but it's a beam saber.
Yeah, so as the Zaku goes in for melee, Zoe just, like, quickly, her Jim's Dauntless's hand goes behind the back, pulls out the beam saber, goes for a swing, and mid-swing just activates the beam saber to just cut the dude in half. And that will be, she got 7 successes, so that would be 4 successes.
No, you're doing meeting an attack. When you meet an attack, it's an opposed roll, but if you're not greater than 2, both sides do full damage.
Yeah, Zoe got a 7 successes.
So it's 7 successes. So I'd like you to roll me 2d6.
Yep. 7 again.
It does not blow up. Add another mobile suit kill.
Yippee! This is very risky.
Yes it is. Zoe?
Yes.
I have some bad news for you.
Yeah.
Its second turret is on the bottom of the ship.
Okay.
It turns to aim at you.
The ship is aiming at me?
Yeah, with a beam cannon.
Okay. Then Zoe's just going to try and pull back to get out of there and meet back up with her team. So I will do a movement check, I believe.
Correct.
Five successes.
High successes. Would you like to move back into a medium distance, or would you like to move back into long?
Long distance. I want to be close to my team.
Excellent. Connie, you see it scurry back. You see Zoe scurry back.
All right. Connie is going to raise the polycrest rifle and aim specifically at the. He's going to try and take out the top beam cannon and the top missile rack in one shot.
This would be at a -4. Would you like to use your reactions to make this a flat roll, or just a -2?
I would like to use one reaction and also use Sniper's Eye, so that bring it down to a -1, right?
Correct.
Yep. All right, I'm going to make the shot.
Would you like to use your tuned pool at all?
And that just adds 2 successes, right?
Yes.
Can I declare? I can't declare it after the roll. I got to use it during the roll, right?
Before or after. But the more complicated thing is, I might tell you no if you say after.
Well, I am hitting. It's not like I'm hitting a fucking ace in a nimble mobile suit. I'm hitting the ship.
Yep.
All right, so keen firearms. That is 11 plus melee fire 16. I forgot the fucking cheat sheet, and that is 4 3. So 4 3 7. That is 10 degrees of success.
10 degrees of success. You successfully blow away the cannon missiles. That's 15. Since you elected to target a specific part of this ship, you have foregone any other critical damage you could have inflicted.
That's fine. It's not like Connie wants to blow this thing up. There's already too many dead floating around. And after he fires, he's going to attempt to laser link the what the hell is this thing called?
A Galgal.
Dauntless.
Galgal. Attention, Zeon Destroyer. This is Federate. Do we have a task force designation?
I believe you're the 18th.
This is the 18th Federation Task Force. Surrender immediately or face destruction.
One moment. Oh. Oh no. While you're saying this, Connie, you start to notice the Galgal start to glow.
Oh, God damn it!
Spaghetti.
You have just hit a citadel. You see, there's no noise. Everyone's looking at it. As you see one part of the ship break apart from the other in the force of the explosion.
Zoe just kind of, her dauntless turns to Connie's dauntless, and she says, "Looks like it's a little late for that."
He doesn't answer. He just lowers the polycrest rifle. I'd be Black Bear too, right?
I believe I noted it in your doohickeys.
Oh, Bear 3.
Yeah, Bear 3.
Bear 3 to ops. Any other Minovsky signatures in the area?
You hear Bun Daniel says, "Nothing, Mr. Constantine."
He holsters
Zoe.
the...
Yeah, Zoe, before he holsters it, perks up. Do you sense anything? As through the comm link laser video, he can just see Zoe like looking up to where he's on her monitor with just her eyes.
Connie takes his hands off the controls and takes his normal suit helmet off and just breathes in, breathes out. 4 in, 4 out. Do I sense anything?
No. Lozy, you arrive and everything's already over.
Hope we don't end the party without O.
Zoe just Zoe shrugs and she says, "Connie made a good shot."
And does Zoe still have the video link to Connie?
Yep.
You can see tears forming at the side of his eyes while they're closed.
I'd like everyone
Zoe
to roll
just kinda-
combat fatigue. Everyone take 1 mind
Ha,
damage.
ha, ha. Oh, don't roll, just take another mind damage?
Oh, that's just for being there. You just have to do that.
We're rolling Margaret.
Even people who didn't leave the ship.
Yes, you were involved in combat.
I suppose.
I would
I
like
met-
Alberik to roll me grit at fatigue. I'd like Zoe to roll me empathy. As a new type, Connie has to roll both. I'd like everyone else to roll empathy as well.
Right.
I got 5 degrees of success on empathy.
I don't-
admit it.
I got 3 of
Really?
success on
3 degrees.
grit. That means I take 1, right?
No,
Or
because
3.
when
Because you want to fail this one.
No, you want to succeed grit. You want to fail.
Ah, that's right. So you
Failed my
spotty.
empathy check.
I succeeded in the empathy check.
People who succeed the empathy check, please inflict D3 mind damage.
Oh boy. Alright, thank God.
I got 3.
I assume you want.
I got one.
I assume you want me to. Golan, I assume you want me to reroll.
Huh? Why?
Because she failed her empathy.
Oh yes, that's right. You have a baggage.
And she failed again.
Lucky you.
Near boxcars too.
I have a question. What is
Congrats, you don't have emotions.
just bottle everything up, and then one day you die. You don't have to deal with
Just-
it anymore.
Just
Hey,
bottle it up. It's fine. It's fine.
Joe, what are you
Well,
thinking about all this? You watched the entire thing from the belly of the ship.
I mean, I guess those tin cans work pretty. Tin toys work pretty well, but he's kind of pissed about missing the fight. Unrelated, Joe has empathy 0, so
Oh,
Yeah, fuck those guys.
I have failed my
Sociopathy.
Yeah,
I
actually,
failed my
Joe,
fatigue grit
what
then as
do
well.
you feel about this destroyed Galgal?
good. More Zeke bastards dead. Wish that the rest of would get the message and give up because they already lost the war. What do they think they're going to do with these pathetic remnants? They couldn't beat the Federation before when they had an entire country on their side. They're certainly not going to accomplish anything now.
Alberik, any new orders as you're sitting in, the bridge?
keep scanning for survivors. Let's try and we can spend a day here, I think.
Saul echoes the order to the people out to his team outside. You heard the captain? Search for survivors. And he actually maneuvers his mobile suit next to Connie's and puts its manipulator on the suit to initiate contact comms privately. Did what you could.
Yes, I did.
Connie, that means more than not trying at all.
I'm tired of it, Saul. I thought
We're all tired of it. That's why I said what I did in the hangar before when I disciplined that petty officer. We have to keep going. For everyone's still here and everyone is gone. We have to keep trying.
Okay, so as you investigate this, I'd like everyone to roll me uh, either keen in academics or keen in politics. If you are a space noid, please make this a flat roll. If you are an earth noid, please take this at a -2.
What
Can I
were
use
the
my special boy bonus?
Oh,
No,
It was
no special
keen
boy
and-
bonus.
Oh, dang it.
Yep.
Alberic,
That's a box.
keen.
Yeah, that's a.
Actually, no, Alberic, never mind.
Sorry, I would just like to say Zoe had a threshold of 2 and she got boxcars.
Okay, it was a keen awareness?
Academics.
For me, what is it? Sorry.
No,
have a
I just
special
like
roll?
you already know what's going on.
It was
Oh,
a
Degrees
okay.
of success.
What was that? Pancake?
5 degrees of success on that roll.
Saul?
What was the penalty if I'm an Earthnoid?
-2.
-2? I actually might have succeeded. Hold on. I got 5 degrees of success, actually. Being in space has apparently had a big effect on me.
Losey?
5 failures.
Losey, you're looking at this ship, and as you're looking over it, the captain sent a couple shuttles to process these guys. You keep seeing marked on it ZFL.
ZFL. Zeon Federation League? She's like scribbling in a notepad.
Connie, you notice Losey staring at the emblem of the Zeon Foreign Legion.
The hell are they doing in space? Did that pick up? I saw my thing go green.
I
for
didn't
only...
quite catch the whole
Yeah,
thing.
yeah, we got it.
I didn't quite clearly hear it. Can you say it again, please?
The hell are they doing in space? He's gonna push that from his mind for now and redouble his efforts on finding survivors, both from the Federation ship and the Zeon ship.
Zoe, Saul, you both know what the Zeon Foreign Legion is. It's anyone.
I don't.
Thing is, wait, did you not succeed?
I told you, I rolled boxcars.
I thought you rolled Snake Eyes. My bad.
I rolled.
So
No, I rolled boxcars.
Sorry.
my dice were like
I
no more
totally
Snake Eyes.
misheard that. Saul, you two are looking over this processing thing, and you suddenly notice someone jump out at the EFS Marines and sailors. You have to do this and try to pull a grenade, and pulls a grenade and charges at the shuttle before getting gunned down. An explosion going off, injuring a few, and killing the man himself in the process.
Alright.
So this is because Zeon Foreign Legion are Federation citizens, and by fighting for Zeon, they have committed high treason.
Yeah. Yeah, somewhat how we how the Zeon treated the aggressors. Oh boy. Oh.
Connie's far enough away to not see that, right?
Yeah, I've already beaten you up enough.
I'm just gonna little meta thing here. Connie has 8 mind health. In one combat, he is down to 3.
Oh, jeez. Kind of looking at that, taking it in, recalling it, and kind of thinking about how director, if you don't mind.
Yes.
Perhaps you can answer this question better than I can, because I might be wrong. So for clarification, for my sake, how much of because I know there's a good amount of people on Earth, and the Earth Attack Force were part of it. How many people on Luna would have been a part of the Foreign Legion, technically?
Oh, very popular in Granada. They could field a proper fleet of like 15 ships if you got them all together.
Oh, that's great. That's what Saul needed to know. Oh boy, can't drink. He swore it off. He really wants to now, though. He just kind of stares at it for a minute, his eyes straining a bit. Is there anyone alive after the ship just kind of fucking fell apart?
There were. You only have the pleasure of capturing 15 or so people.
That's even though they've only gotten that, he will do another cursory for his own sanity.
As you do, scene cuts to black, and it opens up again as the camera sees is a blanket being pulled over tonight's meal. Alberik, you were in the room with Yalvin, Matherin, Connie, Zoe, Killick, and Chief Petty Officer, or what did I name him? One moment. Baker, the mechanic. Everyone, you see perhaps the most disgusting meal you've ever seen in your lives. It is melted pig stuff. Could you describe what the meal is, Alberik?
Certainly. This is my favorite dinner. This is the head of a pig, put in a pot and boiled down until, and the skull removed naturally, until the remaining tissue takes on the form of a gelatinous mass. And then the mass is then pressed into a sort of like a cake and then served with toasted cheese, which is an open-faced grilled cheese sandwich.
Wow. Connie very meekly says, "Oh, it's head cheese."
Zoe.
Quite.
Wait, is the captain here with us?
Yeah, you're.
Yeah, I am.
You're eating in the wardroom with the captain.
Connie.
Zoe's gonna. Okay, wait. So Zoe's gonna look at the plate served before, and then she's gonna like slowly look up at the captain to see what he's like his expression is.
Just ravenous hunger and delight at his favorite dinner. I'm gonna spoil this. I'm gonna put a spoiler on this picture actually, so that you don't have to see it if you don't want to. It is visually repulsive.
See, the thing is, I actually like head cheese, and Connie is
okay.
European.
Oh, okay. So you're actually familiar. Okay.
Yeah, I actually do like head cheese, but I want to play this out real quick. Connie is going to stand up, or he's going to look towards Captain Alberik. permission to be dismissed, Captain.
For what purpose?
As much as I gratefully appreciate this meal, I don't have much of an appetite, and I'd like to return to my quarters.
Well, if you would join us for the conversation at least, and the toasted cheese and coffee. Alberik is trying to lace through his words what a grievous social faux pas it is to leave the captain's dinner halfway through.
Matherin, are you going to try to salvage the situation at all?
See, Connie isn't like, he's not putting any tone of disrespect. He just sounds mentally drained and exhausted in his voice. He's trying to put on as much like proper acumen as he can. It's just he's having a difficult time mastering it. Like
I'm just making sure. Okay.
He's not being disrespectful. He would actually eat this if he wasn't at 3 mind health.
Well, if you have no appetite,
Maybe,
take some salads.
Trying to think here how Matthew to intercede, like how he clearly looks like unwell, trying to like convince the captain that this is not any sort of social, no insult intended. Like he'll recommend maybe a sedative for Connie, because I assume at 3 mind health you look like hammered shit. If I can be perfectly honest, I'm not as eloquent as the character I'm playing.
Yeah, he looks like he's been waffle stomped through a shower drain.
What the fuck?
Such a way with words.
I know.
So elegant.
Also, as I'm trying to like play Connie on the verge of yet another mental breakdown, I got the goofy part of the fucking War in the Pocket soundtrack playing, and this does not fit what I'm trying to do at all.
Perhaps Maturin can get you something to help you sleep, and Killick, get some boxed, soused Hod's face for the lieutenant.
Understood, sir.
For the warrant officer, sorry.
Mr.
Connie
Constantine.
salute. Yeah. My apologies, Captain. And Connie salutes and very, very gingerly exits the captain's mess.
You know, with your box of...
I'm glad someone in the chat actually has had this before.
I actually quite like it. I haven't had it in the exact configuration, but...
Saul looks at as Connie leaves.
You know, standing out. Standing out of the room.
Yeah. Captain, I would like to go check on my man, if you would. So
please.
Excuse me.
Absolutely. You're dismissed.
He nods, and he stands up, internally thanking God I don't have to eat this.
Zoe's gonna watch them both leave and realize she's now stuck, like, alone in the captain's wardroom.
You fool.
She doesn't have an excuse.
Well then, Zoe, you see Commander Albin turn to you and said, "So, how is everyone?" And Ensign?
What do you mean, sir? As in the squad, or?
Yes, the MS team, please.
Looks at her food, picks it up, and is like basically delaying as like she's like, oh, I'm just giving a report, but I'll eat this when I finish reporting. As she's just like, well, Lozy is fine. She didn't see combat today, so she's rather fine. Our ensign, or what does he pilot again?
The public class pilot.
Yeah.
Ensign Joe.
Ensign Joe is also fine. Warrant Officer Connie, as you see, isn't doing really well. Well, I don't know how the junior lieutenant is doing. All I know is that he seems to at least be having a head on his shoulder, from what I've heard. As she's saying that she too looks similarly tired. I have a question.
Yes.
Would the captain and the command crew know about Zoe's, at least the parts they are allowed to know?
They know it's blacked out for the most part.
Yeah. Do
Alberik,
they?
Alberik is not well liked in Luna 2 or in Jaburo.
Oh. Oh. Well, I assume they've probably seen her victories at least.
Yes. You know, very illustrious ace.
Yeah. Which, you know, I'm gonna hope that will be good for a conversation point. 17-year-old. As Zoe looks once again at the pig's head, misses one of her friends cooking with all of her heart, takes a bite out of it.
You see, Zoe, you see, with great decorum and much apprehension, Commander Yalvin also began eating.
No, Swappy, you should roll to see if Zoe actually likes it.
Yeah,
actually,
you know what? You're right.
grit
What do I have
check.
to roll? What do I have to roll for for food taste check?
let's do a D2. Would you like? Yeah, lower you like it. So if you get a 1 on this, 1 on this D2,
I rolled a 2.
you surprisingly you actually like it, even though it looks vile.
Zoe just tastes it, sees that it's not that bad, but she's just like, she like there's a fog in her head as she's just like,
Your
oh my
brain
God.
takes a while to process it.
She's
Massive
processing it, and then she processes it, and then like quietly, maybe they can hear it. She's just like, oh my God, this war really has changed.
Matherin, you notice this.
I can repeat that. I actually couldn't hear that.
Matherin, you notice that Zoe kind of likes it.
Yeah, no, Zoe, and you can maybe quietly hear her say, oh my God, the war has really changed me.
Any response, Matherin?
Try to think.
Does Matherin like it?
Of something clever here. Probably. I was gonna say. They sound really affected. Imagine this is what This is what rations look like now. Imagine what it'll be in 6 months.
Oh God.
The thought crosses your mind as you're doing a little bit of mental math, Zoe. You realize this is the high point of your cruise.
Zoe is just in the back of her head. Do it so you can get home. 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 But what if I can't go back? But what if I can't go back? But what if I can't? And she's just starting to spiral because of this fucking head cheese.
The camera cuts to the gunroom dinner. Saul, Losey, you're eating with Warrant Officer Gutham, Chief Engineer. Tonight's dinner, BLT, apples, and orange juice.
Oh, this is what the company.
Optional coffee.
This reminds me of the company dinners back home. Actually, hell, we're probably not that far from home. We are in the belt, and you think we can stop by one of the colonies? I could show y'all around. It's a lovely place.
I'm sure as lovely as it is, unfortunately, I don't think it's going to fly. We don't have shore leave yet. But this does reminds me a bit of family.
You know what? Ensign Joe, you're also there.
Right.
Gutham says, well, if we run low on supplies, I suppose we could restock.
It's true.
Now, the Belter colonies, they ain't like your Lagrange colonies. They're a bit different.
So, I'd like you to roll me keen academics at a -3.
Well, I've been rolling surprisingly good, so sure. Keen academics. I almost rolled 3 dice to do that. That is 2 failures.
You have no idea what the difference is. Mosi, he looks confused.
Oh, that she like is like thinking in her head because she genuinely doesn't know the name, and then does like a spinny circle with her hand. That gravitational force thingamabobby? Yeah, we don't have that.
How does it work?
Gotham says, usually in a normal O'Neill cylinder, the rotation and push it as everyone down towards, and he brings up his hands to do air quotes, the ground. But in the belt, all colonies are built into the asteroid they're mining.
Leaves for a different experience. Actually, even though we do have artificial gravity in some places, it's not often. We actually have to do exercises, lots of treadmill work, lots of exercises to make sure that whenever we do get into gravity, artificial or not, we don't, flop like a pancake or have a heart attack. I forgot which one.
I apologize for my absence. There was an irrevocable emergency I had to briefly attend to.
Yeah.
Where did the conversation go to?
To cut back to the wardroom. Connie has excused himself with Saul following. Ensign Zoe surprisingly likes head cheese.
Ugh.
I told you, once you can get through the... I'm not going to lie and say it has a delightful appearance or even an appealing texture, but it is, you must admit, the chief way to prepare pork.
Yes, Captain. She
It
says.
certainly highlights the height of human ingenuity.
As it's starting to hit her, she hasn't been in this situation before. Most of her commanding officers back in the wars were, as they say, total dickheads. So now her new captain is just like, see, head cheese is great, isn't it, Ensign? And she's just like, what do I do? She's sitting in this room, a child basically, with like these 40-something-year-olds.
Yes, indeed. But, there's, I'm not going to say it's not an acquired taste either, but perhaps toasted cheese. Who could say no to toasted cheese?
Zoe is kind of just keeps eating as she's looking at the captain like how to say what would be the right way to say this? This certainly isn't a commanding officer that she's very used to. That would be the way she'd say it. And it's probably on her face. And considering Captain, most of Zoe's file that you have on her is black ink.
That's a big reason why I invited her. Actually, is because Alberik knows like nothing about her.
All right. Should we actually? Maybe we should save that for later. We should probably go back to the gunnery room.
Yes, that's what I wanted to do here. The thing is, most of the junior officers have left that I wanted to talk to, director. So
I'm sorry, but you.
I'm sorry. There's narrative panache.
No, it had to happen. I don't disagree with it. It's just like I wanted to get all the junior officers on the same page about hitting the enlisted men, but then the junior officers left.
It's
Don't
okay.
worry,
You can tell. You
Connie
can.
will come back and apologize when he's been properly sedated.
They all left to presumably.
I wanted to make sure everyone, while we're here, is on the same page. I hope to have a slightly bigger wardroom table, but this is an unusual cruise. It'll be a cruise of unknown duration, requiring an unknown number of combat engagements, and I cannot say when we will return home or the condition that we will return home in. And while I am extremely hesitant to say we will need to relax discipline for the course of the journey, perhaps we will need to, in very material fact, curb down on the most visual and symbolic gestures of corporal discipline aboard the ship. This is all a very academy way of saying we can't slap the men.
Zoe says, I keep that in mind. I don't think, I'll keep, she clears her throat. I'll keep that in mind, Captain. As she takes a sip of her coffee. I don't think many of the enlisted people would be very happy about getting slapped by a child, as they would call me.
Sorry, very... I lost Zoe's line there. The enlisted people wouldn't be very sorry too.
The enlisted wouldn't be very happy to be slapped by a child, as they'd call me.
Yalvin says, Ensign, please, you're the future of the Space Forces currently.
Bund, there's, we detest, I'm certain, we all, enlisted men, I'm certain detest an informant, but I will need someone to be a bit of an eye on the inside. We have at least 6 months together. No opportunity for rest and relaxation, or at least very, very intermittent and unanticipated. I'm going to need you to be my man on the inside for the enlisted mass.
Matherin, do you feel anything when he asks this?
No one likes to be an informer, but it's kind of important, so...
I see it.
In a very real way of speaking, our lives are on the line. As well as the lives of, thousands of innocents in the belt.
You see
and the people back home.
You see a conflicted look. It's like, I'll keep you abreast if anything comes up, sir.
I appreciate it, Chief Bund. Shall we have a toast?
You see Commander Yalvin says, as he raises his glass, there are no soldiers in Zeon.
Well, I was actually going to do the sort of tradition. Matherin, what day of the week is it? Wednesday. To ourselves. Because no one else cares about our well-being. And he downs the officerial swig of brandy.
Zoe takes her coffee to us. And, sorry, who was the one who said you're the future of the EFSF?
Yalvin, Commander Yalvin, the executive officer.
Commander Yelvin, Captain might notice Zoe's expression kind of change when he says that to one of a. You have a very, I would say you'd have a very solid clue that she probably wasn't, very, how to say, like, she joined, but it was probably due to a very certain circumstance.
Extenuating circumstances.
Yeah.
You all raise your glasses, and then the screen fades to black.